There are points in sports where you can draw the line between one era and the next. When Michael Schumacher retired and Lewis Hamilton made his F1 debut in 2007, when Manchester City were bought out by Sheikh Mansour in 2008, and when Hypno-Disc dismantled Robogeddon in Series 3 of Robot Wars. Hypno-Disc, the brainchild of Dave and Derek Rose's, at the time, 3-year-old son, is quite possibly the most memorable competitor in the history of Robot Wars. Arguably even more than Razor, and definitely more so than Chaos 2. In fact, over 3 years ago, I ran a poll on Twitter on who was people's favourite robot out of Hypno-Disc, Razor and Chaos 2, and Hypno-Disc won convincingly. Even if your memories of the TV show are limited to staring at a TRT television with no regard of the world around you, chances are you remember Hypno-Disc. For its time, it was one of the most destructive robots in the world, and yet it had never won a UK title. So why is it so well regarded despite that? Up until Hypno-Disc's debut, there hadn't been a weapon as destructive as this in the UK. The closest, although it isn't even a competition, was probably Spin Doctor taking out Matilda's tusks in the Series 2 trials. So, imagine yourself as being a child watching this weird-looking hypnotic bot go up against this green blob made by a nervous-looking teenager and experience what many experienced that fateful evening. Nobody in the UK had seen such destructive power in this competition before, and they wouldn't see that type of destruction again until about 15 minutes later when Hypno-Disc did the same to Stealth, resulting in this amazing photo after the fight. Although it didn't have the same level of destruction throughout the whole series, struggling against Berserk 2 and then having a ding-dong battle with 101, which they won in an incredibly close judge's decision, and ultimately falling to Chaos 2's near-perfect run at the very end, I'd be lying if I didn't say that Hypno-Disc's first campaign left an indelible mark on all that watched it back in 2000. Come Series 4, some well-needed changes were made to make the robot more powerful. A new frame, a faster disc, and importantly, a self-writing arm. Did it pay off? Well, I'll give you the rundown. The Predator, Spaghettified, VMAX, Wheezing, Razorblade, Derobed. The semi-finals were even more of a massacre, as it ended up doing to Splinter that no robot had ever managed to do to anyone. Here's a hot take. This is, without a shadow of a doubt, the most memorable fight in the history of Robot Wars. Let me elaborate. It's not the best, but it is the most memorable, point blank period. If you haven't seen this fight in any capacity, you're lying. But just in case you're not, here's a quick show reel. Sadly, its sophomore campaign would be halted by a shock defeat to Pussycat, and that's really what stopped Hypno-Disc from ever getting a title. Shock defeats. Case in point, its fight against Bigger Brother, arguably the greatest fight in the history of Robot Wars, in the Series 5 Grand Final. And a cut-short Series 6 campaign meant that Hypno-Disc never made it past the first round of the Series semi-finals, and its last two televised fights were losses in the first round of the All-Stars and the Challenge Belt. But that doesn't really matter. Hypno-Disc captured the hearts and minds of anyone who loved to see unapologetic destruction. Hypno-Disc was the UK public's first foray in what a spinning weapon was really capable of. And while others have created weapons more destructive and with more kinetic energy than ever before, you don't forget your first time.